Did the carnivore diet cause my heart attack? Hello, this is Old Carnivore Steve, and I'm going to be discussing what I think the problems were that led to my recent open heart surgery. And thank all of you for your response. And I read all of your comments carefully, and it's amazing how many of you have been on carnivore and the results you've obtained. Well, one thing I want to do right now is I had a couple of naysayers that said, hey, I really didn't have open heart surgery, and what I had was a stent put in. Well, I did have open heart surgery, and I kind of got the scars to prove it. So I'm going to do this once, and this is the only time you're ever going to see me unbutton my shirt again. There are the scars, whoops, down there, and right here, if you look right there, that's where they put in a drainage tube and it blocked, and they put in a second one, and we'll talk about that a little. Uh, those drainage tubes, evidently, they don't suture them. When they shove in the drainage tube into your chest cavity to drain any fluids off, when they take the tube out, they just stick a bandage over it, and they say it has to heal from the outside or from the inside out. And I looked at that initially for the first 2 or 3 months. It was all shriveled up inside, and it looked like I had another navel 6 inches above my original navel. But now, after about 4 or 5 months, it started to fill out, and the only thing that's left are those scars that kind of look like I got bit by a asp or something, and two fang marks there. So yeah, I did have open heart surgery. It was successful, and they had a lot of problems, and I mentioned the problems in the previous video that they had. But I saw so many people after the surgery. I had the cardiologist come in, and then I had um, nurse practitioners, and they wanted to send people to my house. One checked for safety, another one um, wanted to help me out with physical therapy, and there was a third one there for something else. And then about once a week, I went in uh, for a consultation, and they wanted to see how I was doing. And I will say that in spite of all the problems I appear to have during the surgery and leading up to it, with them not being able to place the balloon pump properly, and uh, when every one of those people, and there must have been a dozen, said, hey, I did fantastic. Some of them were surprised to see me um, basically out of bed and walking around after 1 week. So I did fantastic. And I credit being on the carnivore diet before that, because I lost a lot of weight on the carnivore diet. I increased my muscle tone. And I think that basically, if it wasn't for the carnivore diet, I may not have done so well. I may not have made it. I didn't expect to make it, quite frankly. I was kind of surprised that after the fact, I seem to be doing um, remarkable, according to most of the people I look at. They say, oh, you're 81 at the time, and you're doing fantastic. So I guess I'm doing fantastic. I don't know, but when a dozen people or more tell you that, I guess you must be doing something. But at any rate, what were the causes of my developing the heart attack after being on the carnivore diet. Well, there are a lot of things I could say, and if you listen to my videos, I was pretty strict on the carnivore diet the first year. Then around the holidays, I broke down and had all the traditional foods that I was used to eating for 80 years. And in the summer after that, I broke down, and if you saw, I was eating fruits and veggies and occasionally fast food. I can't do that right now. Fast foods, you give me one McDonald's French fry and it affects me immediately. I have joint pains. I get muscle spasms, get Charlie horses, and just tightens up. And it really, feels like your bones are going to break. And a French fry will do that to me, or potato. I never had those reactions when I was younger, but right now in my old age, boy, uh, I have an immediate response to carbs, so I know I can't do it. But what led up to this? And well, I'm going to give part of the blame uh, to something I probably shouldn't give it to. I don't know. YouTube might ban me for it. They used to. Uh, but several years ago, uh, I was under a lot of stress, an enormous amount of stress. I'm not going to say why, but let's just say I had a stressful time. And about the same time, uh, the COVID was coming out, and I had the COVID vaccine. I took the first round. I had the Moderna, and had the first round of COVID vaccine, and I felt so terrible at the time that I had to do something, so I went on the carnivore diet. And it lasted for a year on the carnivore diet, and a little over a year and a half, maybe. I don't remember the exact time period. But then I came down with bladder cancer. And the bladder cancer, uh, when I went in, I didn't go into emergency immediately, but I couldn't urinate. And then finally, after a day of that, I decided to go to the emergency room. And I've had to be in the emergency room about 3 times over the past 3 years in 3 different hospitals. And amazingly enough, they were all like an episode of The Pit. I don't know if anybody's seen The Pit on television, but I highly recommend it. It seems very realistic to me anyway. But the point of me saying that is I ended up spending, probably about 6 hours in the emergency room before somebody saw me. And then they decided, well, they had to go in and they did a CAT scan, which was blurry. They couldn't see anything, but they saw the tumor evidently and decided they had to go in immediately. And so they put a catheter in to drain my bladder, and they got almost, I think it was over a liter, if I'm not mistaken, of urine out of there. My bladder was overfilled and it backed up into my kidneys. And the kidneys do not tolerate urine blocking up and backing up into them. So where does this all take us? Well, part of the reason I think that I suffered a heart attack was because, well, not only after 78 years of being on a standard American diet, or not totally standard American, but a lot of processed foods and carbs were in there anyway. My veins were already getting coated with plaque. Uh, Well, what happened after I was on the carnivore diet? Why didn't that stop? Well, one of the reasons was I wasn't real strict after the first year. And then I got the bladder cancer and my kidneys backed up. And when the kidneys backed up, they stopped functioning properly. Uh, my BUN and creatinine skyrocketed. The filtration of the kidneys went way the heck down. So I had a lot more particles floating around in my blood to help create a little more blockage, in my opinion. Well, okay, then we go back to, well, the cancer did that and the backup did that. Why did you get the cancer? Well, smoking maybe for 50 years, 2.25 packs a day. Um, Maybe it was the contaminated water that I was exposed to when I was stationed at Camp Lejeune in North Carolina, which, they have a huge lawsuit that's been going on forever, and the payments to people have been delayed so long. I mean, most of the Marines that went through there that got cancer will die before they see any money. Some of them have seen some, but they're dragging it on. Uh, so there are a number of reasons that I was set up for having cancer. And, cancer doesn't develop overnight. It takes years to develop in most cases, maybe even decades. Well, then I had the COVID vaccine. And I've watched a lot of videos, YouTubes about the COVID vaccines. But there is one person out there, Dr. Sun Xiong. Uh, I'm trying to think of what his first name is. Um, I forgot what his first name is. He used to have a pharmaceutical company, very successful, which he sold off for billions of dollars, and he had more money than he knew what to do with, and he went off and bought the LA Times. But and now he's trying to develop some anti-cancer treatments again. But his analysis of the uh, major COVID vaccines that were out there is basically, he said that they actually will give your cancer a boost if they're not what he called onc uh, vaccines, or onc being, oncology, onc being from the Greek for tumor, I believe. So, I believe there were a lot of things going on there, but I believe that the vaccine helped speed it all up. And then when the kidneys went, uh, or when the bladder went and backed up into the kidneys, and it was just a progression of things that caused uh, me to get that heart attack. I might have got it anyway. I mean, unless you can actually clear that plaque out of your system with the diet, which some people say maybe it cleans up a little, and there's others that say no, once it's there, you never get rid of it. I kind of think maybe you can get rid of a little of it, minute amount, but pretty much sure that's the reason I got it. Now, my BUN and creatinine have not come down to normal. They're slightly in the high range, still higher than they should be, and the filtration is slightly lower than it should be. Um, and I'm hoping that will clear up. I have decided that, for the time being, I'm going to uh, go into the carnivore diet, but I'm going to do it slowly. I'm going to start off probably just having basically the majority of meat, and then maybe supplement it with a little uh, a few fruits or veggies that they claim are good for you. Uh, but eventually, I'm going to very rapidly, not eventually, very rapidly, I think I will be going into a full carnivore diet again. and we'll see what happens. And hopefully, something good will happen. We'll see. Now, uh, I've got, like I said, a double bypass, and oh, since the scar that I showed you, that scar actually is a work of art. I mean, I went to rehab for 36 weeks, and I saw a lot of the scars from uh, the people that were there, and they were really ugly and fat. And this one is one of the cleanest ones I've seen, and probably that's due to, again, the carnivore diet, the muscle tone, the skin texture. I think it made a big difference. Um, Now, I'm basically feeling pretty decent, and actually, I'm not sure I feel better or worse than when I was on the carnivore diet for about a year. It's hard for me to judge at this point in time. One thing I do know is I can breathe. I don't run out of breath, and not getting chest pains, which is good. When they did the surgery, they cannibalized my body. I mean, I said how nice this scar looked that's on my chest. Well, I have a scar right below the knee and my left leg, and it's literally a half inch wide. I mean, whoever they had pull out the veins out of my leg to do the bypass, which they kind of butchered it. Maybe that's normal, but it really looks ugly. Looks like was in a car accident or got hit by shrapnel. Um, well, if you've stuck with me this far, that's what believe. I believe firmly that the carnivore diet really helped me make it through the surgery, and I believe that uh, when I go back on it totally, I'm hoping that it all works out okay. Let me know your feelings about it. Uh, should I go on it quicker? I'm going to go 100%. What do you think the time period should be on that? Uh, One of the things is right after I had my surgery and I'm in the hospital, and I was not on a restricted diet. I mean, the breakfast, lunch, and dinner they gave you were all carbs. Uh, so the hospital has really crappy food based on a carnivore diet. But again, you get addicted to that sugar. And one of the things I eliminated immediately right now is I got rid of all the sugar, and I got rid of like you know bread and pasta and potatoes, the starchy carbs they say are the worst for you, and they're the worst for me because, as I said, I can feel them immediately. Well, I hope you found this informative, and if you did, please give it a like and let me know what you think about it all. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll try to make another one of these next week, and we're going to be talking about medications, I believe. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching again, and goodbye.